The assignment that Connie is going to be fulfilling would be from the Educational Successful Club series, and the assignment is to evaluate to motivate. It is a 10 to 15 minute speech, a little bit longer than we would normally have for speeches. Speeches are roughly 67 minutes. Connie's speech will be for 10 to 15 minutes. Connie is presenting information from the International Successful Club series, Evaluate to Motivate. This is a series of prepared presentations from Toastmasters to assist clubs in developing member speaking skills. I mean, we're all here to develop whatever it is, and these kinds of speeches help us out. Evaluation is one of the cornerstones of the Toastmasters program, and Connie is passionate about the power of effective evaluations. In fact, she was district champion in the evaluation contest back in 2001. She's been around a while. For the presentation today, Connie has provided a handout, which we should have in front of you. And Ms. Tanner, Connie has asked for lights at 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and 15 minutes. And I would welcome Connie to provide us with, I don't see a speech title.
Evaluate to motivate.
Oh, that is the name of the speech, the title of the speech. So evaluate to motivate. Please welcome Connie.
As Joan mentioned, a handout was provided. Did anyone not get that handout from the front when they came in? Wonderful. In Toastmasters, we don't run an academic program as such with a teacher and learners. We learn from one another, and an important aspect of our learning is making sure that we are provided with effective feedback. The effective feedback that we get from our fellow members helps us to grow and to develop. So in order for us to develop as speakers, it's really important that we develop the skills that we need as evaluators in order to help one another to grow. As Joan mentioned in the introduction, I am very passionate about the power of effective evaluations, and along with speeches and table topics, I think that evaluations form the other cornerstone of the basis of our program. So in other words, the more effective we are in evaluating one another, the better job we're going to be able to do to help one another grow. There are benefits for the speaker, for the evaluators, and for the club. I'm going to share a few of my thoughts about that, as well as some of the process ideas that I have, or some of the processes in being an effective evaluator. So if you are a speaker, an effective evaluation will help you in a variety of ways. It helps you because you receive that immediate feedback. Just like a little child, you don't scold a child a day after they do something wrong. That immediacy of feedback, whether the good, the positive, or the areas of improvement, is really important because that's when it's all fresh in your head. That supportive commentary, those helpful suggestions, all reinforce in a very positive way what it is that you can do to become better. A good evaluation provides you with concrete methods for improvement. It's not just, oh, you could strengthen the conclusion of your speech. I suggest that you could strengthen the conclusion of your speech by doing a wrap-up and a summary. The first, the second, the third thing that I covered were. And so those concrete suggestions are what makes the feedback so much more effective. And ultimately, that effective evaluation is also going to help to build and maintain your own personal self-esteem if you are the speaker. Because we come into this room and into this setting with a great deal of skills. Each person, although we want to grow, we already have a skill set that we bring to this meeting and to this environment. ultimately, what I believe that we are better off doing is building on the skills, making those skill sets, those strengths even stronger. And as you do that, those other areas where you could use some improvement, they will come along for the ride. But we always want to build on what it is that we do well, because by building on self-esteem, you as a speaker are going to want to get up here and speak on another day. In Toastmasters, we have a very limited time frame. Joe talked about, and so did Andrea, about the role of time in our meetings. We've all been the victim of a hijacked meeting, and so in Toastmasters, in order to be efficient, what we use is we use the tell and sell approach for evaluation. In this approach, the evaluator does the talking, and the speaker and other club members sit back and listen. Again, it's an efficiency method, an efficient method of providing this kind of feedback, because in an ideal world, a dialogue back and forth would be really nice, where the speaker would say, well, Connie, you could have moved around a little bit more, you could have used your stage better, and then I could have said, yeah, I know, but I have my speech being recorded, and I know I have just a limited time frame, and so then you'd have some back and forth, not to negate the comments that the evaluator is making, but more that feedback, I considered that, I didn't decided that I wouldn't, that sort of thing. That takes a lot of time if you're going to have that kind of feedback and that kind of dialogue. The speaker also has the advantage of being able to actually focus precisely on what it is that the evaluator is saying. The speaker doesn't have to think of, oh yeah, but, or, oh, I agree, or whatever. The speaker can actually absorb those words, take them back, and contemplate for the future. I think that's really, really effective. Now, in the bit of a script that I've been provided from TI, they state that new members should not evaluate until they have conducted several speeches. I take that with a bit of a grain of salt, because I don't totally agree with that premise. First of all, evaluations are the perspective of the evaluator. They are not carved in stone. They are not gospel truth. They are someone's perspective, someone's point of view. So whether you're new to this room or whether you've been around for many years, your perspective has validity. And I think that all members should be given the opportunity to evaluate if they so choose. While it is ideal for someone to have experienced the evaluation process first, because I think that they'll be more comfortable, I also think about the brand new clubs that I've been involved with, because I've been involved in the formation of several clubs. And if you're a brand new club with 20 brand new Toastmasters, well, guess what? No one has several speeches behind them, and everyone is stepping in and doing things right from the get-go. Those evaluations are still very valid, very effective. And so while that might be a recommendation, I don't consider it necessarily to be the gospel truth. Looking further at our handout, there's a couple of slides on how to evaluate effectively. An effective evaluation is a really great way for you as the evaluator to demonstrate the skills that you would have learned and that you would have picked up on by this point. It requires you to sharpen your listening skills, to organize your thoughts quite quickly because you don't have lots of time to prepare, and then to rise and provide feedback of 2 to 3 minutes in an organized fashion. So it's a skill in and of itself, and you're demonstrating that. There are some things that you can do to be effective at various stages of the speech process. If you have the opportunity before the speech, it's really nice to contact the speaker and ask the speaker about some individual objectives that he or she might have. Sometimes people are looking for feedback, for example, on joining words. I've been told that I use the word so a lot. I know we have a grammarian, but can you just keep an eye out for that? Or someone told me I touch my hair a lot when I'm speaking. When it's a distraction, can you just watch to see whether or not I'm doing that in this presentation? So while our speeches themselves have specific objectives, and the evaluator is definitely going to comment on those, some of those individual items might be something that you would have the evaluator look at. If you are an evaluator, show that you are interested. I mean, it's good manners. No one here is on their phone as we speak. But in some meetings that we are in corporately, I know that there are people under the table who have got their phone active and they're not necessarily paying attention. So if you're the evaluator, show that you're interested. Make eye contact with the speaker. Jot down some notes. It really does indicate that you are captivated or that you are involved in the speech itself. The third point during the speech itself or during the evaluation is to personalize your language. Remember, as I said, this is the evaluator's perspective. It's not a carved in stone kind of thing. So avoid terms such as you didn't do whatever it was. You should have, because those are blame statements. You failed to. Those are negative ways of putting your thoughts down and steering the speaker in a different way. Instead, in order to stimulate the improvement on behalf of the speaker, there's language that you can use, such as, I believe there was an opportunity for you to use the stage better. Or, my reaction was that I was absolutely captivated by the personal stories you told, and I suggest that you keep those personal interjections as part of your speaking overall. Or, I suggest that you could have had a stronger opening by wrapping up and summarizing, these are the 3 points that you covered. In Toastmasters, we also have a bit of a mantra about evaluations: what I saw, what I heard, and what I felt. And some of those words are actually contained in this particular evaluation sheet as well. Remember to evaluate the speech and not the person. You may not agree with the content of what it is that someone is saying. You may have a totally different perspective, but that does not mean that you can't be an effective evaluator about how it is that they presented that material. Watch for symptoms of fear or insecurity, because especially when someone's at the early stages of their journey, they might get up here and they might be really obviously nervous. And so if you're seeing that, then in your evaluation, make sure that you keep your comments gentle, right? Don't start to point out too many negatives. In fact, another mantra that I've been taught in Toastmasters is the sandwich method. Begin with praise, have a suggestion or two for improvement, and then end with praise. So you sandwich the improvements in and amongst the good, and never, ever, ever have more points for improvement than you do areas of praise and strength. And I mentioned as well that above all, you are going to promote self-esteem. You want to, as an evaluator, encourage and inspire that individual to want to get up in the front and continue their Toastmasters journey, to be looking forward to that very next speech. Be honest and sincere with your praise, most definitely. Nobody's appreciating something that's not true, but we can always find those strengths. And again, always end on a positive note. The slide presentation from Toastmasters International also addresses the point about the whitewash, because you don't want to, they call it disingenuous, but you don't want to whitewash. Oh my gosh, the speech was so fabulous. I don't know what I could say to help you to improve, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not helping anyone grow. It's not helping the fellow club members to learn anything. It's not helping the speaker to have that kind of a comment. There's always room for people to make improvements. That's why I've been around for as many years as I have, because there's always room for self-development. So as I conclude, again, this is a mini speech of sorts, so connect your opening statement and your closing statement, sandwich those good things together, summarize your key points, and it says that if possible, give a personal story or an example. I'm not so sure that that's valid, because this isn't about you as the evaluator, this is about the speaker. So unless you can reach into something in your own personal experience that directly relates to that, I tend to avoid that. But again, encourage, and hopefully that speaker is going to be looking forward with enthusiasm to the next time that they volunteer to be the speaker for the meeting.